What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I am here to give you my favorite Underdog fantasy plays for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog. That's DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. That gives you a 50% deposit match bonus. It is the best deposit match bonus you're going to find out there. Friends don't let friends. Sign up with worse deposit match bonuses than Daily Dog. And also, Underdog is running a bunch of promos right now. They're giving you bonus slips and boosts and everything else. So open up that app. They're giving deposit matches right now. I think 50% up to $100 for everyone. I think right now. Open the app, see if you got it. But without further ado, let's get into it. We got 12 slips today, 12 2-pick entries for this entire weekend, starting today, Friday, and through Sunday's NFL slate. Wild one. Yesterday, man. Thursday was one of the most frustrating days I've had in Underdog in a long time. We were right on a lot of stuff, but didn't have the right combos, I will say. And then that NFL game kind of went off the rails when Estime stole that touchdown early, when Bo Nix decided not to throw to Cortland Sutton until the middle of the second quarter. A lot of stuff was annoying, but it is what it is. Oh, Quinn Johnston drops. Gotta love that. But I digress. Let's keep on rolling. We got a lot to get to today. We're going to start with college football slip number one. We're going to go with Jadan Baugh, running back for the Florida Gators against Tulane, higher than 69.5 rushing yards. Tulane's rush D is actually okay, but I think that this is going to be a different type of opponent than what they were used to in their AAC schedule. Teams like K-State and Oklahoma were able to move the ball on them. Florida is much closer to those teams than the AAC slate that Tulane faced here. So let's get that 69.5 rushing yards with Jadan Baugh. Next, we're going to go with Jeremiyah Love from Notre Dame, higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. We're starting this off with a nice, easy 2.4x entry. 2.4x is pretty good, considering I think Baugh could be pushing 100 yards in this game, and I think Love is definitely going to score a touchdown. He is the dude for Notre Dame's offense. Friday college football slip number two, we're going to go with Mario Williams, higher than 43.5 receiving yards. He's done this in 8 out of 13 games. Mario Williams is a wide receiver for Tulane, so higher than 43.5 receiving yards. He's also got a high pedigree. He was the wide receiver in Oklahoma. He was a highly recruited prospect. And then we're going to take Justice Ellison of Indiana, higher than 51.5 rush yards. Notre Dame has a really good rush D. The last 3 games, it has not been that good. And you're like, oh yeah, well, they played Army. Of course, they're going to give up 200 rush yards. Yeah, they gave up 207. They almost gave up 200 to USC. They gave up 128 to UVA. Last 3 weeks, dealing with some injuries on the defense, at least in that front seven. The defense has suffered against the rush. I like Justice Ellison, low number here, 51.5 rush yards. He can definitely do it. Obviously, they split time a little bit in that backfield, but again, Justice Ellison is the guy who usually gets more carries. So give me him with Mario Williams, higher than 43.5 receiving yards. Justice Ellison, higher than 51.5 rush yards. 3x multiplier. Friday, NBA, we're going to go with Caris Levert, higher than 12.5 points. The Bucks are traveling to Cleveland. Here's the deal. The Bucks are coming off of that NBA Cup victory. I think that there's a good shot that that Caris Levert goes off. He's been hitting this number quite often lately. So let's go Caris Levert. Hopefully the injured and banged up Bucks are not bringing their A game here. Then we're going to go to Duncan Robinson, higher than 9.5 points as the Heat. The Heat host the Thunder. Thunder also playing a back-to-back after playing that game in the NBA Cup. I think they're going to be a little tired. I think that Duncan Robinson's going to hit some threes. He hits 3 threes. Man, we're right on the cusp of this one. So Duncan Robinson higher than 9.5 points. This is a 3.12x multiplier. Next, we are going to go with Bam Adebayo in that Heat game. Higher than 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I know Hartenstein is a big rebound monster, but I think Bam is going to do just fine in that matchup. Hopefully he gets high teens points, low teens rebounds, and 4 or 5 assists, and we cruise over this 33.5 right here. All right, let's go with LaMelo Ball. Again, higher than 7.5 assists. It's just too low for LaMelo Ball. He's a really good distributor. I know that he's a crazy shooter. He shot the ball 3-pointer like 18 times yesterday. It was like 3 for 18. But again, in this matchup with the Sixers, it's kind of a short revenge spot. Joel Embiid is back. That might clock things up inside. But again, LaMelo Ball, higher than 7.5 assists. He could be basically there by halftime in this game if he's playing like he has been the last few weeks. All right, to the National Hockey League. We're going to go with Sam Reinhart of the Florida Panthers, higher than 0.5 assists as they host the St. Louis Blues. Blues on a back-to-back. They just got their butt kicked by the Lightning last night. Now they have to go and play another game in Florida. Panthers off rest. Obviously Sam Reinhart, one of the best point getters in the NHL, so love having him on a slip. Then I'm going to put him late night with my boy Troy Terry of the Ducks. The Ducks are hosting the Avs after the Avs had to come back and beat the Sharks last night. This Ducks team plays hard. They play late in the game. Troy Terry gets points late in games, but let's hope he gets it done early. This is a 2.82x multiplier. That's Sam Reinhart higher than 0.5 assists for the Florida Panthers. Troy Terry higher than 0.5 points for the Anaheim Ducks. NHL number 2, Lucas Raymond higher than 0.5 points. Lucas Raymond is the top point getter for the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit Red Wings host of the worst defensive team in the NHL, and the Montreal Canadiens. Great shot for Raymond to get a point here. And then I'm going with my guy, Matt Duchene. I can't quit Matt Duchene from the Stars. They're hosting the Rangers. The Rangers have been absolutely terrible as far as allowing goals lately. Duchene hasn't had a point in 2 games. He's due. It's kind of like the due theory I had yesterday with Sidney Crosby to get a goal. And of course, that one came home. Let's do it, Matt Duchene. He's no Sidney Crosby, but he's a good player on a good team. 3.98x multiplier on that entry. All right. Saturday college football entry number 1. We're going Katron Allen of Penn State higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. I know SMU also has pretty good metrics against the run. Katron Allen, though, I think he's going to get it done. I think that he's going to have a touchdown. He can get it through the air. He's not as much of a receiving threat as his boy Nick Singleton, but give me Katron Allen higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. And then we're going to put it with Cade Klubnik of Clemson higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think Cade Klubnik and his Clemson team are going to be very live in this game against the Longhorns. For that to happen, he's going to probably need to throw through the air. So just basically my game theory, my game script for this one has Cade Klubnik having success through the air. So I'm putting him on this slip with Katron Allen. This is a 3.54x multiplier. Next one, we're going to Saturday college football number 2. Dylan Sampson of the Tennessee Volunteers, lower than 92.5 rushing yards. Dylan Sampson is a great running back. He's had 100-plus rushing yards, and I think 10 out of 12 games this year. Here's the thing. They haven't played a lot of top 10 rush defenses. They played the number 11 rush defense in Oklahoma early this year, and he had under 92.5 rushing yards in that game. Ohio State is the number 6 rush D in the nation here. So I think Dylan Sampson is going to have a hard day here. He's going to get plenty of carries. He's going to get 25 plus carries like he always does. But if Ohio State can keep him short, get ahead, force Nico Amaliva and this Tennessee offense to pass, they're going to have a good shot at getting this lower. Keep your fingers crossed, because you know what happens when I usually put guys with lowers on my slips. They usually have career games. So hopefully we break that streak right here. The other one is Quinn Ewers higher than 0.5 interceptions. I know that I already said that I believe that Quinn Ewers is going to, or I believe that Clemson is going to be in that game. I think it's because Quinn Ewers has shown cracks in the armor lately. He's thrown interceptions in his last several games. Quinn Ewers higher than 0.5 interceptions. This is a 3x multiplier. All right, Saturday, NFL number 1. I'm going totally contrarian here. Patrick Mahomes higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against the Texans. I know it's like he's having his Jordan flu game with his ankle. He's done this already like multiple times in his career. He's just superhuman. He's super tough. Even if a little injury, a little banged up, I don't worry about his ability to get things done through the air here. And then I'm going to pair him with Calvin Austin of the Pittsburgh Steelers as they travel to Baltimore, higher than 37.5 receiving yards. Calvin Austin is a guy that, there's no George Pickens on the lineup this week. Calvin Austin is a big player threat. He's a guy who can get 37.5 yards and 1 catch. I think that he's going to get 5+ targets again, like he did last week. If that happens, 37.5 is going to seem like too easy of a number. This is a 3.33x multiplier because you're getting some extra juice with Patrick Mahomes higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Saturday, NFL number 2, Chris Boswell higher than 1.5 field goals made. Steelers kicker. I don't know why this is a flat multiplier on Underdog. This is insane. Chris Boswell is the best kicker in the NFL. Steelers, Ravens, field goal fest. Always is a field goal fest. So give me Chris Boswell higher than 1.5 field goals made. Then I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins higher than 3.5 receptions. Resisted the touchdown pick here, but man, it's like 3 or 4 consecutive games. DeAndre Hopkins has had 4+ receptions. I don't know why that's going to be any different here. Give me DeAndre Hopkins, lots of targets, lots of catches in this matchup versus the Texans. 3x multiplier. All right, let's get to our Sunday NFL number 1. Adam Thielen higher than 55.5 receiving yards. Adam Thielen crushes this number most of the time. And last week in a game where the Panthers played absolutely terrible against the Dallas Cowboys, he had 51.5. I know it's a cold weather game, quote unquote. a game in the 30s. Adam Thielen's going to be just fine. Next, I'm pairing him with another wide receiver, Jamar Chase, higher than 87.5 receiving yards, 3x multiplier. He can crush this number against the Browns team, which are starting DTR. That's all I need to say. Jamar Chase is chasing greatness as far as receptions, as far as receiving yards, as far as touchdowns go. He's literally trying to win the receiving triple crown this year, and I think he's got a very good shot to do it. So give me Jamar Chase higher than 87.5 receiving yards. This is a 3x multiplier. And our last NFL slip for Sunday, Jonathan Taylor, higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns as the Colts host the Titans. The Titans are a pretty good defense in general, just compared to how good they are as a team, which is terrible. But Jonathan Taylor is going to have a chip on his shoulder after that drop at the goal line last week against the Broncos. Blew that game for the Colts, so he is going to be angry, running hard, and he's one of the more talented running backs in this league. So give me Jonathan Taylor higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. Then we're going to go Trey McBride higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. Kyler Murray said that Trey McBride's getting a touchdown this week against the Panthers. I think that they can actually make that happen if they want to. 3.49x multiplier. Yesterday was so annoying I had to cut my beard off. Hopefully the beardless look gives me good luck. And 12 slips. Don't go crazy. Manage your bankroll correctly. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose, etc., etc. If you're new to Underdog, use promo code DailyDog. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, subscribe or follow whatever platform you are on. Thank you for listening, and let's make some money.